I was thinking about relationships the other day, and not just dating or marriage or what have you, but friendships and all kinds of relationships really. And thinking back over the years, I was thinking about relationships that lasted and relationships that failed. And after all that thinking, I determined that the true test of compatibility, the true test really is how you feel about you, not how you feel about them. There have been a lot of people who've come in and out of my life that I've really liked, maybe certain qualities about them or certain characteristics, or just liked them because of how I met them, when I met them, time in my life, that kind of thing. But in the end, when that relationship ended, best friends, boyfriends, whatever the case, when those relationships ended, looking back now, it's very easy to see that they ended more because of how I felt about myself around that person versus how I felt about that person specifically. Now, those things that we think about other people are the things that come up when someone else asks about it. For example, she talked too much, or he never called, or whatever. But the reality is that it's really all about us. It's about how we feel around that other person. Not how they make us feel, but how we respond to them, which is totally different. So I'm rambling a bit, I know, but I thought I'd share my random thoughts with you today about relationships, why they work, why they don't work. My advice, be around someone who makes you feel beautiful. And I'm not just talking about women and feeling pretty. I'm talking about someone who makes you feel beautiful on the inside, someone who makes you appreciate yourself, or makes you feel motivated or inspired or loved or adored or appreciated or any of those things. Someone that makes you feel beautiful. So you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of one of my absolute favorite movie quotes ever. And it was Jack Nicholson, and he was absolutely brilliant in the movie As Good as It Gets. For those of you who haven't seen As Good as It Gets, some people love it, some people hate it. It can be a little dry or a little slow, but it's very good and it's very deep. Anyway, Jack Nicholson was brilliant in that movie. And of course, the famous line where they're sitting in the restaurant, it's him with Helen Hunt, of course, and they're sitting in the restaurant and he says, "You make me want to be a better man." And she says, "Oh my gosh, I think that is the nicest compliment I've ever had in my life." And she's just gooing and gawing over this compliment. And he's kind of taken aback and he goes, "Well, I may have overshot it then because I was going for just enough to keep you from walking out the door." He totally cracked me up through that entire movie. But yeah, that's one of my favorite movie lines. Anyway, that's kind of the concept, when someone makes you want to be a better version of yourself, and they can't make you feel, by the way, but when you're around someone that inspires you to be a better version of yourself, that's a good person to be around. That's a good friend to hang on to.